now?
My name is Chris Smith. Well, some call me Reverend Smith, but there's nothing reverent about me. It's only the Lord that's reverent. And I got my calling at 13 years old. And I preached my first sermon at 13. Well, just like everybody else, I wanted to fit in. And so I was in the middle school at that time, and I had never been to a party, never drank or anything. So, but I wanted to go to the party. I wanted a girlfriend. I wanted to experience life, a worldly life. And so I ran from the Lord. But if you know the Lord, you can run, but you can't hide. I'm just gonna be real with you. And so I kept running, but it seemed like what everybody else could get away with, I couldn't. And so I wound up finding out that, I couldn't be like everybody else. And so I came back to the Lord and I cried out. I said, Lord, please help me. I know that I failed you in so many ways. If you just help me, Lord. So I began to just speak his word and study his word. And everybody I saw, I would tell them about, witness for him, and I'd tell them about him. And so I wound up going back out in the world. I wanted a girlfriend. I got me a girlfriend. I experienced sex. Found out that, it wasn't his plan. Although I was supposed to experience sex, but I was supposed to be married. But I wanted to be like everybody else. And the more I tried to do things like having sex and drink and everything else, the more guilty I felt. I'm being real with you. And so I finally, I was in the military. I went in the military at 18. I was in basic training, and everybody that was with me, the guys that was with me, it's just like I didn't feel right around them because they cursed and smoked pot and drank and everything. And so I knew if I started hanging with them, it wasn't the fact I didn't want to do it. Now, the flesh wanted it, but I had to resist it, and I had to ask the Lord to just help me. And the chaplain, I went to church when we finally got time to go time off from doing our duties. I went to church and I met a chaplain, and he invited me to his church that wasn't on post. And so I came and I sung and I witnessed for the Lord. And then still I felt like, I wanted to do things like everybody else. Because when I talked about the Lord, nobody wanted to hear me. And then they started calling me Jesus Freak and, so many other names and stuff. So at 32, I seen that everything that I've tried to do on my own, I failed at. And I said, Lord, whatever you need, I'll do. Now, I'm not perfect, but at 32 years old, I decided to follow Jesus. And I tried my best to resist those temptations and stuff, although I got married, and the woman that I married, it wasn't the woman that the Lord had for me, but nevertheless, I married her. Because I said, well, if I'm going to have sex, I might as well have married. And I thought by marrying somebody that it would be all right. But I learned that God has a person for each and every one of us. And so we stayed together for 23 years. And it was a struggle. But the Lord finally allowed us to divorce, and I remarried. But this time when I remarried, it was he brought her to me. It's like we knew each other all the time. The very first time we met, and she said, "You're a man of God." And I said, "Well, I can see that you are too. You're a woman of God." And she said, "Yeah, I'm a prophetess. And the Lord has given me that gift." And so we began to talk, and she was trying to find a beauty salon. Well, the guy I was working for, he owned a building, and it once was a beauty salon, but he was a crook. And so I let her know that he wasn't all what he pretended to be. He was a wolf in sheep clothing. And so she found it out to be true and everything. So we wind up getting together, and now we married. A year later, we married, and we've been together now. Come March the 23rd, we be together 6 years. And so that's part of my testimony. I could be here all day now.